Yo, welcome back to another episode of Make More Beats, or whatever you want to call this channel. There's a pretty stupid saying that I've always heard, that there's more than one way to skin a cat. Because if you're skinning a cat, something's wrong with you. But in this installment, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna show you the 3 different ways that I chop samples in Ableton. There might be more, but off the top of my head, that's what I can remember. Is the 3 different ways that you could do the same thing in Ableton. And sometimes I use all 3, and that's what I'm going to try to do today. I'm going to try to make a beat. I'm going to try to make a beat using all 3 of those methods to make the one beat. So let's head over to Ableton. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So right here we got a session open. I got the homie Latte's samples lined up in here. Take a listen. Kind of dark. Session's 155. The sample's 155, but let me just change it a bit just because the time stretch in Ableton is so good, it doesn't really matter what you really do. So the first method is Serato sample, which a lot of you guys know. Drop it into Serato sample. Because it's the MP3 with all the stems separated, that's why it might take a little bit longer than normal. I'm not using the SP for a specific reason. I'm just using it as a sound card and as a MIDI controller, just to make things easier. So here's the sample, G minor. And what I like to do is just go find samples. Like that one. So I'll actually go and mute the audio track just because I don't want to hear it play once I press spacebar. I think I'll pitch it up a little bit. So yeah, you're just moving your points till you find the piece that you like. I could lay that down, and then I'll add to it. Turn on my metronome so I can hear it. Two should be good. For now, at least. I'll loop that. And I just build on it. I like that. So I would erase this one. Right? I'll move this, get the transient more on point. I think I want to start the whole beat with that one. So right there, consolidate them. All right, first step, Serato sample. First method of sampling, Serato sample. The next is okay, here's a trick that I'll do. I'll duplicate Serato sample just so I open another instance of it. Delete that MIDI information. Open the original one, A minor. I'm working in A minor. I'll open the second instance and I'll put the second sample in there if I'm layering samples. I'll tell you why. It's actually already in A minor, which I guess I could have just looked at the could have looked at the thing and see that. Because this is already in Serato sample, this first sample, this yellow sample, I'm actually going to delete it because I don't need it. I'm going to delete this Serato sample. So then the next step is just chopping on the timeline. Jigsaw puzzle method is what I actually call it, but I don't know what it's called. So I'm going to take some of these. I'm going to take some of these stems that don't have drums on it. Right? I'm going to put my sample filter on it, just because I know I'm not going to be using. I don't want to use any of the bottom end in it. I'll play my own bottom end for the most part, unless there's a bass line that's undeniable. I like this piece. Take these three pieces just for the sake of the video. I'm just stacking the pieces that I like to the side. I'm basically just putting together a jigsaw puzzle of samples that I would potentially like to hear on the beat. See if that fits. That's the ending. Change the gain so that they're all pretty similar. So I literally have two different layers playing. I'll take out even more of the top end, just make sure they don't clash. Taking 4 bars. And if you drag it down when there's effects on it, drag it down to the empty, it'll duplicate that track with the same effects on it. So I'm gonna try and like turn this up a little bit too. Throw an auto pan on it. So it's going back and forth, ping-ponging. And I'm just gonna lean into this bass just because it's already there. For the Serato version. All right, so there you got two different ways to sample. Serato sample, and then just in the, I don't know what this is called, just in the regular timeline. So now the third way to sample, which I'm going to use for my drums, but you could also use for your, for anything. What you want to do is take the break, first of all, right click on it, slice to new MIDI track by transient, built-in zero velocity. So now it already made a drum rack out of it. So there's actually four ways to chop samples in Ableton. I'm gonna make sure it's one shot. My kicks are one shot, and make sure it's clean. So you're moving it. One shot the snare. The hi-hats are pretty trash though. I'll turn this hi-hat, and I'll EQ it after. So, right. Get another snare. It's good to have more than one. Also good to have more than one kick. Right? So that's how you would do it. I'm gonna get rid of the one that I dropped on here. This is just MIDI info. So this is the third way to chop a sample. Let me just lay the snares first. What's dope about putting it in a drum rack, that's my snare, right? I can go to my spring reverb and put it right behind the snare. There's my spring reverb right there. It's a little bit much. And then I could take it, copy it, go to this one, and paste it there. No, they're both spring reverbs. Yeah, let's just lay them. Something like that. So there you go. There's another one. So to go from F to A, I could either go down 8 or go up 4. So I'm going to go up 4. So that way I know and get rid of the Serato. Once I put this into simpler, make a new MIDI track, double click simpler, drag this in. I go to slice, and I'm stepping this up 4 in the transpose spot right here. So this fourth way now, I would go manual even, and then, so in order to make a new point, you just double click on it, and then you can move it. Just for video's sake, I'm gonna add another point right here. right? And then you just record that in. So I'll put my sample filter on it, give it a little bit of a reverb. So I'll take the drums to the bottom, and then I'll take all of the melodic elements, Command G. And what I'll do is, I'm a sucker for sidechain, so sidechain this, peanut butter break, let the kick punch through. Do my little makeshift mastering. So I'll gain stage it. Roughly -6 or whatever. Then I'll add my mastering sampler, my mastering preset, which is just ozone. I like this YLM meter. Because you get to see exactly how high on the loudness meter it is. Aiming for like -10, nothing crazy. You can see I'm pretty far off because it's not even attenuating or whatever that word is. Start to just clip it a little bit. Do a little saturated before the compressor. Just a little bit. I could push it even further if I wanted to, but I won't. Just for good measure, since I'm here, put some forward dust on it. So there you have it. I thought there was 3 ways to chop a sample, but there's actually 4. So those are the 4 different ways I chop samples in Ableton. First way, Serato sample, pretty self-explanatory. Next way is what I call the jigsaw puzzle method. Third way is simpler. The fourth and final way, which I use for my drums, is to drag the wave onto the timeline, right click on it, and then make new MIDI track, make a drum rack out of it with the chops. So those are the 4 different ways that I chop samples in Ableton. Let me know if you guys have any other ways that I'm missing, if you want to see me do it in different ways. Big shout out to Latte for sending me these samples. This video is not sponsored, but make sure you guys go hit him up, go to his site. I'm going to leave the link in the description below so you guys can go check it out, show him some love, all that good stuff. Do all the good shit they tell you to do. Like, comment, and subscribe. Make more beats. Peace.